Max, how goes your campaign against Windwalker target caps? We're counting on you to get it done. I would not do that. It sucks. I just think all target caps are not... I'm not a fan of it, but I have only become radicalized to it recently because I'm playing a class that is capped. The thing is, why I think it's unlikely to get it capped is their original goal for target caps is kind of filled with Windwalker. Like, you know how they're like, there can be uncapped AoE classes, and there can be classes that are capped at 5, capped at 8, but if you're capped at 5, you should be better at 5 than the uncapped AoE class. If you're capped at 8, you should be better at 8 than the uncapped AoE class. If you have some abilities that are like really good at 3 target, you should beat everyone else in 3 target. And I think that idea is fine with how varied WoW is in gameplay, but it doesn't actually work that way. Like, there's not an equal amount of all of those things. Also, that statement hasn't been true. A lot of the times mass AoE classes are just as good on 5. And then the main problem, which some people would argue whether it's a problem, is that Mythic Plus basically just cares about mass AoE. There's some dungeons where that's not true, like Theater of Pain this season. But the problem is there's this game mode, like Raid has everything. Raid has like very rarely mass AoE, but there was a ton in Nerebar Palace. You know, it has a lot of like 3, 4, 5 target cleave. And then those classes, like Windwalker, really excel at those because it exists. So it's really a Mythic Plus problem for target capping, not a raid problem, which is not the entire game, right? So that's probably a big reason why it hasn't been addressed. And then Blizzard has tried to address target capping in other ways, right? Like, why do you think they added so many mechanics to so many packs for so many years? They wanted to, like, challenge you more, but they ideally wanted you to pull less. So there were more pulls in dungeons, and those lower target cap things could become more relevant. Now, as a player, most players would tell you that pulling big is really fun, and you want to do that instead. So that solution to that problem doesn't work for you, if that's how you feel, right? Then we're back to square one. Now, this season, they took away a lot of the mechanics, and what happens again? It's all about mass AoE. It's all about pulling everything again, which was kind of what they were trying to solve in the first place. So, yeah, here we are. If you don't mass AoE, you're fucked in dungeons. Like, let's just say, as a solution, in Mythic Plus specifically, most abilities that are capped at 5 or 8 are capped at 20. Literally everyone just has mass AoE in Mythic Plus specifically. I wonder if that would solve the problem, or if it would just move the goalposts, you know? Like, now that everyone mass AoEs, aren't you maybe focusing more on raid buffs? Are you focusing more on who does the most single target or cleave? And then it just becomes a different thing. Although, I guess it wouldn't be that big of an issue because, like, boss damage in this game is relatively balanced. Much more than any kind of cleave profile, so I don't think they'd be that big of a deal. However, what's not balanced is people's single target in AoE spec, though. That's still, like, it's better than it used to be, but it's still pretty, like, you know. Some classes get all their cleave really easily, and some have to give up a lot of single target to get it.